Welcome back to the Crochet Crowd as well as my friends over at yarnspirations.com. I'm your host Mikey. Today is the fourth of 5 tutorials that we have for this particular sample. So the fourth one is the final for the hexagon. The fifth video is the joining that we're going to be concentrating on. So it's the very center. You only need to make one of these and it's right here. So you can see here we've had to make 6 of this type, 6, 6 and only 1, and you can see my little layout that you can download from my website. You can get that. Now what we're going to do today, it's all one solid color. If you've been following along in this whole process so far, this is all one color. You already know the stitch work, but for those that are just starting with this video, I'll get yourself started and then we'll talk about that, and then I'm going to pick you up later on in the tutorial and do a lot of homework. When I say a lot, I'm going to do the homework offline because basically every round is the same. So this is hexagon number 1. So we're going to be working on hexagon number 19 today. So what's gonna happen is that the stitch work that you learned here is going to be the exact same stitch work that you're going to do for number 19. The only difference is that I'm going to meet you up just before the end. We're going to place some stitch markers so that we can do the cross lines. This is not number 19 by the way, if I didn't make that clear enough, and then we're going to do there. So we're going to start off just the same way that we always have been, and then I'm going to leave it to you to do the remaining of this, and then I'll pick you up near the end. That's the goal today, and let's just take a look at the instructions itself. So on page number 4 we have the hexagon number 19. I don't know Roman numerals, so I had to look it up, and what we have is that it's to make the same as hexagon number 1 using the colors. So all it is that we're going to start off with our white, which is the common color, and then rounds 2 from 14 we're using the color B, whatever color you decide to use, and I'm going to pick you up on round number 15 and 16 at the end. So I'm going to get yourself started and then we're going to carry on our journey. So let's start off with color A and start, and then we'll do the surface overlay at the end of today's video. So let's begin our journey. We're going to do a beginning chain. You have to chain a total of 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4 using a 5.5 size I crochet hook if I didn't say that already, and you're just going to slip stitch to the beginning and pull through, and now it's all ready, and we're going to start round number 1 using the same color. In round number 1 we're going to chain up 1, and in the same circle you're going to single crochet, chain 2, and then single crochet again, and you need to do that a total for 6 times. So you just keep chaining 2 and adding single crochets to the center of the ring. If you go up over top of the straggler, the loose end, you can hide that into position, and therefore you won't have to sew that in later. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the 6th single crochet going in, and then chain 2 and join it to the beginning single crochet. So this is going to be it for this color. So I'll show you how to fasten off only one time in today's video, and then I will meet you in a second to do that. To fasten off, all you just have to do is just cut your strand leading to the yarn ball and then pull through that loop. And it's best if you just put this onto a tapestry hook. You can weave it in with your crochet hook, but chances are it will fall out. It's just the nature of the stitch work. And just turn it over and just weave it through the back side. Try not to impede with the outside edging or change any of the distance of the chain 2 spaces. So if you go back and forth a total of 3 times, it should never fall out on you. If you did crochet over the top, over the middle of the straggler like I was, then you can safely cut that out too, and you won't have to sew that in. And therefore round number 1 has been completed, and now we're moving on to round number 2 in just a moment. Let's get started with round number 2. As I've been saying throughout this whole series, if you go into a chain 2 space and join with a standing single crochet, you can avoid something that looks like it's out of place. So pulling it through, pull through 2. Now chain 2 and single crochet in. Now you're going to go to the next space, single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. Please do that. You should have a total of 6 spaces, and you'll be filling that in, and I'll see you at the end of this round. So coming all the way around, all the spaces are filled in, and I'm going to join to the top of the beginning standing single crochet. What I am going to do, just for my own sanity, is that I am going to place in a stitch marker there so I can mark my number of rounds, because we are using a solid color, and I would be using it if you weren't watching me as well. So let's begin to move on to round number 3, and then round number 3 all the way to 14 is the same. It's the distance that's between the corners is the only changing factor. Let's begin round number 3. In round number 3 I'm changing from the pattern if you've noticed it throughout the series. So just immediately go right into the corner and single crochet, chain 2 and single crochet. And instead of slip stitching over, I just do that and then it hides it better. So here before the next corner you're going to skip the first one out and go to the second and single crochet first, and then you're going to do the next corner. So you do single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, and then skipping the first one out, go to the second, single crochet in, and then your next corner. Please do this all the way around. This is round number 3. You come all the way back around, you're just maintaining. Now you started off with the single crochet in the beginning, so that's the last stitch that you're going to have to worry about. So I've already skipped my one, went to the second, so I'm just going to slip stitch to the beginning single crochet. So that was round number 1, 2 and 3. So now what I need you to do is go all the way to round number 14 and finish 14, and then I'm gonna meet you up on round number 15. So the only difference is that it's gonna get bigger. So to start another round, just single crochet into the corner, chain 2, single crochet, immediately skip the first one out and fill in the rest after that one all the way to the corner. So in this case there was 2 in a row, and then the new corner. Single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. So skipping the next one out, do all the rest. So do this now and I will see you on round number 15 in just a few moments, and I will meet you there. We'll see you. So last time I saw you I told you we need to get to the end of number 14. So this is what it looks like. I now need you to make some stitch markers if you don't already have them. Just do them with yarn because I'm gonna show you a little tip, and I need you to make 6 of those, and I'll be right back in just a moment. So let's begin round number 15, and we're going to be inserting 4 stitch markers in per side. So one stitch marker that you just cut is going to equal 4, and I'll show you how in a second. So starting in the first one, so you're just going to single crochet, chain 2 and single crochet. So the second single crochet in that corner is like the rest of the stitches that rest of the motifs that we've done. That counts as one of them. Skipping the next one, you're going to go to the second one, the third and the fourth. Now you're gonna just hold there for a sec. So the fourth is going to get a stitch marker. So watch what we're going to do. So these are going to mark where we're going to do the surface overlay in the future. So the fourth is in. Then the next one is 5, 6 and 7. So the 7th is where you're going to bring in that stitch marker. Just bring it from behind. You just need to know where it is. So you see this is 1, this is 2, so that was the 7th. And then 8, 9 and 10. So the 10th is another one. And 11, 12 and 13. And the 13th is another one. So you see that you use that stitch marker so you can see 1, 2, 3 and the 4th spot. So now you're gonna just finish this side and then turn your corner. So single crochet, chain 2 and single crochet, in the second single crochet in there counts as 1. So you're gonna skip and go to the next, and then you'll put a stitch marker on the 4th, the 7th, the 10th and the 13th. Please do this all the way around for round number 15. So I'm coming all the way back around and I'm just slip stitching to the end, and now we're gonna go for round number 16, which will finish off everything. All the stitch markers are now in, and we're just gonna go one round of white, and I'll do that in just a moment. Let's begin the 16th round, which is just white, starting off in the corner as always, and then you're just going to do a standing single, chain 2 and single, and then of course skipping the first one out and then just single crocheting the rest, and then do your corners all the same. Single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. Just ignore the stitch markers, and when we come back we'll have this done, and then we'll begin our surface overlay. So I'm coming all the way back around. I'm just slip stitching to the first standing single crochet, and then that's it. So we have some choices to make as we begin our surface overlay. So let's just get rid of any loose ends that we do have and keep in your stitch markers, and let's begin our surface overlay next. When we look at the surface overlay that we've done before, in this one here, this was the second one that we did, is that we followed it up, we came across, and then we went back down, and we came in, and then we followed it. So it's all completely one line going all the way around, in and out. Okay, so you can do that. So this, you see it's missing there because we've kind of gone up, down, and it's just enough to get that done. Here what we did is that we started off in the center and we stopped, and then we fastened off. So you can decide what you would like to do. I believe that the original has this design, so we're gonna go up and then down and etc. So if you've done this before, you can probably skip this part. So I'm going to start this off just for anybody that's starting with this video first, and let's begin that journey next. Let's begin to do the surface overlay. We are going to ignore the stitch markers for now. Creating a long strand with just a loop, there's no slip stitching, just loop it to the back and bring it front to front. So if you've never done surface overlay before, it comes from the back and then you go into the next one. So we're gonna follow the chain 2 space on the corner. So you go to the next one up and just loop around the yarn that's leading to the yarn ball. And you can position this in your hand so that it's like it's crocheting, but it's from the back. So you could just wiggle your fingers around the hook and bring front, and so you're just doing a slip stitch. So you want to be a little bit relaxed with it so that you get the same loop look. And so when we get to the top of this, I'm gonna show you what to do, and then we're gonna come across and then back down to the center, and I'll show you how to cross the center so you don't have to keep on changing out your yarn. So let's meet at the top in a second here. If you go over top of any stragglers, like any stitch markers, you can pull those out easily. So I'm coming here and I'm coming to the last one of the yellow, and this is where I'm gonna stop. And now I'm gonna come across this way. So just jumping into the next stitch. So just use each stitch, like the post of each stitch, as your jumping point over. And then just come into between, see? It's awkward when you go back towards the center. So just go across here, and then we'll turn in a second to go back down to the center. So I'm coming up to the chain 2 space of a corner. So you're gonna go right into the space first, and then you're going to turn this in a way that makes sense. It's a little awkward, and you're going to start then going down. So you're already in the side of the space here, so you're just gonna go here. Sorry, you're gonna go here, grab the yarn, pull through, and then start working your way down. So I'll meet you at the center point, and just keep those stitch markers out of the way, and I'll show you how to maneuver that so you don't have to change out your yarn and just go up the other side. So I'm coming all the way back down, so go right to the center hole and through. So now that you're in the center, you're just going to turn and then start in the next chain 2 here and work your way back up another side. So you're just gonna go up the next side, and then you're going to turn at the top, go across, and then back down. So every other one is not gonna have a surface overlay here because it's here, and then you're gonna come across, and then you'll come down and do the other side. So it's almost like a 3-sided, kind of like a pinwheel shape that will have this, and then the other 3 sides will be blank. So do that, and I'll see you at the end of this round. So I'm just coming all the way back around. I'm in my last one, and I'm gonna come through to the top here. So what I want to do is just pull this strand. I'm just gonna cut it from behind, and I'm gonna pull it up. So I'm gonna show you how to fasten this off, and I want to put it into a tapestry needle. When I go to do any kind of surface overlay, it matters on the tension of what you're doing. So go back through the middle and down, and before you turn it over so you can't see it, just pull in a way that it makes sense so it looks like it belongs there, and then you're gonna turn it over. On the back side, you're just gonna stay within the center, and you're gonna do this with all of your strands anyway, but you're just gonna stay right where you are in the same color so it gets well hidden. These lines here will end up having all the stragglers being woven in as you're doing those as well. Again, you're the artist, so if you don't want to do any of those extra stragglers, that's up to you, or extra surface overlay, it's up to you. So now we still have the beginning strand to work with, so let's get rid of that one too. So just turn it over to make sure that it looks like it's right. and if not, just kind of adjust it a bit and then weave that in and back and forth a total of 3 times as well. So I'm going to show you how to do one of the surface overlays, pie shapes. I'm gonna do one whole pie shape on my own, and then I'll be back in just a moment as I show you how I did it and how you're gonna hide in your yarn. So I'll be back in just a moment. Okay, so I've just completed one surface overlay section. It's not as hard as I thought it would be, and honestly I'm gonna show you some tips on being able to hide this so it looks like it's cohesive. That's my biggest worry, is that it will look like it doesn't belong together. So one side here has the surface overlay going along the top here, the other one is missing. So I'm going to show you where I'm going to start for both of these, and then once I get to the middle here I'm gonna show you my little tip that I can get for you so that it looks like it belongs. So let's start off with one that doesn't have the surface overlay already done on the side here, and what I would do, these stitch markers are telling you where to go. So we're going to just loop around the yarn. Let's start with the big one first. So this is the largest span, and so the largest span we're just gonna come up, I would come up through the white section first. So follow it one more up, and therefore you'll have the white section leading to the white section. So just leave the long strand on the other side, and then just come into the one that has the stitch marker in it. I'm not changing anything, I'm just having it so that the color looks like it belongs to the outside. So you're going to follow the grain of the stitch work all the way, and it's gonna do a slight curve on its own. So you're just basically jumping down like that, and you're going to just evenly space it. So the trick is to stop at a strategic point at the end, and then we're also going to weave in our ends. So if you weren't watching me, I would do all of the surface overlay first, and then I would go back with a tapestry needle and just secure in all the loose ends. And when I say all, I mean the entire project. Like I would just surface overlay the whole thing and then worry about the ends later. So turn on the TV and relax and just put your needle into the wind. So the goal is that you are gonna hit that line here. So you're gonna come right up against it, but you're not gonna go into it. So come into the one just before it and let hold. And you're going to just trim off your yarn so it's long, and you're gonna pull up. So you're going to notice that it's not attached to here. So let me show you how to finish off the one side here. So all I would want to do is just throw this into a tapestry needle. See, so you could have a little bit of creativity, and it depends on how you followed it up. So maybe I jumped over, or maybe I added a stitch. It doesn't really matter. It's the fun stuff, right? So you can have a lot of fun with the different concept. If you don't like this design, you can honestly just remove it if you want to. So when you're about to finish, come into the one side here of the surface overlay through the back, and then come up and come into the other one that is right before it, like there. And what you want to do is go down through the center of where the other one is here, and then that makes it look like a faux stitch. So on the back, what you're going to do is that you're just going to weave in your ends. So you're just gonna stay within the white section, just kind of looping around it, and then go back and forth a total of 3 times. As I'm doing this, I really like the idea of maybe just doing this, this, and this as surface overlay and leaving the other one. I think I'm gonna do that for my sample here. So that's something that you can decide to do for yourself. So what happens if you're starting here along the edge? The only difference is that you want to kind of just make the loop, and you're gonna do all of the ones that are marked with stitch markers. So here, see how it's kind of under here? So go between the two here into the same stitch that is marked in behind it, and therefore that will cross over that, and then just start working your way down in, and you're gonna go all the way in to the middle. So the only difference is that this is going to start out of this piece here, and then you're gonna work your way and then finish it off in the same way. So what I'm going to do for myself, just as a transparency thing, I'm going to do this one, and I'm gonna leave the other 3 blank. So I'm gonna remove this. I just think it looks kinda cool. So that's something that you can decide to do with yourself, and I'm going to be back in just a few moments. I'm just gonna do this work on my own, and then next video we'll cover on how to attach them, and then we'll also cover on the border. So here I've just done the 3 sides. Again, it's up to you on what you would like to do. So looking back, all of the different motif styles are done. We only needed one of the last one, and you can have some fun. So next time you see me, we will be starting to put things together, and I'll have some tips. I would also steam block these, so I'm going to take them upstairs now and get ready for filming for tomorrow. But just apply some hot steam to it, lay them flat, and then when you're ready to sew them together, everything will be ready to go. So you can just join them with an invisible join, and that will be next time. Have a good day, and we hope to see you again real soon. Bye bye.